So Bones wanted to take a closer look at how the Earth is being changed from the inside and how we're moving around just like leaves in an ocean or leaves in a lake, floating around the lake and being pushed in all different directions. And I keep talking about these convection cells or these convection currents. Well, here's a closer look at them. Okay, a convection current just is our Earth's magma underneath the Earth that starts spinning in circles. Okay, all right. So the magma will heat up as it gets closer to the Earth's core. It will heat up and it will cause it to rise. Then, as it's traveling across the further away from the Earth's core, more towards the Earth's crust, it actually cools, and it will start to sink back down. And so you get this kind of spinning effect that happens underneath our feet. Now, if we're on top, it's going to cause the Earth to move around, either in any direction that the spinning convection currents are causing the land above it to move. Mainly, these convection currents can cause continents to drift apart from each other. It could cause them to crash into each other, and it could cause them to go side by side. One goes one direction, one goes in the other, each having different effects, like we've talked about. It could make earthquakes, we can make mountains, we can get volcanoes, all different things can happen. Okay? Now, the only reason that this is possible, the only reason that convection cells are strong enough in order to do this is because the Earth is actually broken up into plates. This is what's known as the theory of plate tectonics. Okay? So, the Earth is made up in different plates. Here we have the Pacific plate in blue, the North American plate in pinkish, South American plate in a light green, an African plate in a dark green, the Eurasian plate in yellow, Australian plate in blue, Antarctic plate in lighter blue. So our Earth is broken up into these different plates. Just think of it as like a plate of food. And these plates are on top of the Earth's mantle, and they have cracks in them, and it can shift around that plate. That plate can move around very, very slowly. Now, what happens as a result? When two plates are spreading apart, so for instance, right here we have our North American plate moving this direction, and we have our African plate moving the opposite direction. What we're going to get here is we're going to get more ocean bases. The Atlantic Ocean is actually getting wider every single year. It's getting a little bit wider, a little bit wider, a little bit wider. It happens very, very slowly, and it takes millions of years for it to happen. Because right in the middle here, okay, we have magma and lava coming out in between those two plates, pushing the plates in two different directions. Now, if two plates are going to go past each other like this, they're going to slide past each other, that's going to cause earthquakes. Okay, and we saw earthquakes happen a lot in California over here. And notice the Pacific plate and the North American plate, there's the edge right there. Okay, so that's why we get a lot of earthquakes there. And then sometimes when plates collide with each other, they ram into each other. Okay, that causes mountains to form because there's only one way for the rock and the lithosphere to go, and that's up. Okay, so the idea of the theory of plate tectonics is that the Earth is broken up into these large different plates. And because the convection currents that we've been talking about are spinning underneath it, it causes those plates to move in different directions, causing different events to happen on top of the Earth. Now, seafloor spreading, okay, or this is the reason that we're getting the Atlantic Ocean is getting wider every single year. It's a process called seafloor spreading. Basically, what happens is the magma flows up, okay, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and when it cools and hardens, it creates new ocean floor, ocean base, or oceanic crust. Okay, so this oceanic crust has to go somewhere. So some of it gets pushed to the left or to the west, and some of it gets pushed to the right or to the east. And as this magma continues to flow up, it continues to push the continents in that direction. So you could see here that this continent is being pushed to the left, this continent is being pushed to the right, and the width of the ocean is going to continually get wider and wider and wider. And that's what's known as seafloor spreading. All right. So we've talked a lot about the energy flow, the different spheres, the different layers of the Earth, the energy flow that's causing them to move, and the different types of forces, whether it's the outside forces of weathering and erosion, inside forces of folding and faulting, how that changes all of the different landscapes here on Earth, and the Earth is ever changing. Okay, so the Earth definitely looks different today than it did 200 million years ago. Let's see what the Earth looks like 200 million years from now. We will see.